participants at the ongoing Africa Financial Industrial Summit in Lome, Togo. They stressed the importance of the financial industry to the development of the various economies of the African continent. Arise News caught up with a number of them, including the CEO of the Jeune Afrique Media Group, co-organizers of the summit, along with the International Finance Corporation.
I think the importance is in two critical areas. First of all, we have the short-term issues where we have an economic situation which is quite tense with inflation and interest rates at the highest level. So we definitely need to get Africa's financial industry together to collectively think on how we're going to answer to that very hard environment in terms of financing, and what are going to be the consequences for our companies, businesses, and how we're going to fight this. This is the short-term reason for this forum. The long-term reason for the forum, the reason we created this forum, is that we think the financial industry is going to be critical in the future for Africa's to develop itself, for companies to be able to get to the scale we need for them to compete continentally and at the international level. So creating a formidable Africa of financial services is going to be key in the future. How can we create regulation for groups such as Zenith, UBA, Access Bank to grow in scale and to be able to replace the international companies that have left and possibly in the midterm compete at an international level? These are the type of subjects that we're talking about during the forum. We're doing this in the insurance industry, and this discussion has to take place between private sector and regulators. And so that's why you have seen this morning we had the finance minister of Nigeria. Tomorrow we will have the central bank governors of Angola, of Nigeria. So all of these key people involved in regulation are going to be key to engage in discussion with our private sector.
It's really an important summit for the financial industry in Africa, and it is timely because the global financial architecture is facing a lot of problems as with the hike in the cost of borrowing and really hurting Africa. So it is time to assess what African financial institutions can do to finance African investments. And we see that the barometer on Africa and financial industries is quite good. So what we're discussing, can they do more to support African economies?
I think the great thing about the summit, it brings together Africans from several countries that are facing similar issues. So it helps us unpack them. I mean, we talked about overcoming the Africa risk premium this morning, but also in a high inflation environment, high interest rate environment, in an environment where there's a global funding squeeze, so governments are struggling to raise funding. And I think these forums enable us to discuss these issues, unpack them, and see if we can find solutions that are common to all of us in the region.
Have discussions like these at AFIS because we can share the developments in the market and see how we can also support each other, because in these days you can't do anything alone anymore. So we as FMO, the Dutch Development Bank, we support many African banks, from the biggest like EcoBank to smaller banks across the continent, and we spur development. It's economic development, but also environmental and social development. So we look at SDGs 10 and 13, reducing inequalities and climate change, because we think together we can fight climate change and we can fight inequalities. And that's what we do here.
And so it is day 2 of the Africa Finance Industry Summit in Lome, Togo, courtesy of the International Finance Corporation and the Jeune Afrique Media Group. Arise business correspondent Rotus Odiri joins us live with the latest update. Rotus, we are so delighted to see you, and I hope you're enjoying Lome. So Rotus, we understand you moderated. Good. We're trying to make sure that we can hear you here. I understand you moderated the panel yesterday. Good. I can hear you now. I heard you say yes. So give us the theme of the discussion and how it ties into the summit.
Yeah, good morning to the morning show crew. I'm actually joined by Marufatu Abiola Abiola Bawuah. She wanted to make sure that I figured that in. Abiola Bawuah, who is the Africa CEO for UBA Group, and you were part of a panel yesterday. $1.5 trillion opportunity for financial services across Africa. Can you tell us if that is based on population, the African population?
Yes, that is based on African population and the opportunity that we think that can arise as a result of better collaborations and enhancing our capacity, and also joining our services, having interoperability of our system. We believe that if our system of payment, our system of alignment, and we take advantage of opportunities such as Africa, such 1.3 trillion is a possibility.
And as far as technology is concerned, what role can technology play in scaling financial services across the African continent?
Wow, enormous. I think that is give and take opportunity for all the banks. I think that technology is become the bedrock for all of us. If any company must survive, especially with the banks, it is technology that will drive it. Today, if you want to make payment, you don't need to go to any bank. You can just do all your banking
on your phone.
On your phone, in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And in fact, we are trying to really scale about that. You can talk to your phone and your banking will be done. So I think that IT is a no-brainer. It's something that we continue to invest heavily in UBA, because we believe that is the customers are looking for comfort, and that should be the basis of our service.
Are you worried about, since we're talking about technology, about fintechs? Do you think you're going to be disrupted by them? Do you see fintechs as collaborators or competitors?
In my view, I see them as collaborators. We are bankers. We are not into technology. They are into technology. They are not into banking. But we need each other. So I think that we have quite a number of them that we collaborate with currently, and they've made banking very, very easy. So for us in UBA, I believe that fintechs are actually collaborators.
Skills. I want to ask you about skills. Since with respect to technology, from your vantage point as a CEO for the Africa region, the youth, the labor force that's coming in, are they skilled enough to be able to handle these technological advances that are needed to scale financial services across Africa?
Sure. Yeah. You know, currently, even the least teenager is holding mobile phone.
Yeah.
They are actually more technological savvy than our time. When I was rising up, I don't think that I'm more knowledgeable than they are. So in terms of technology, yes, they are technologically savvy, and they are very, very good. And we have recognized that we need to up their skill. So we currently are enrolling quite a number of them and giving them maximum training. I'm sure you heard about our GMAP.
That's right. Yep.
And so that is one platform where we think that we can bridge the gap between their technological savvy and the banking skills. Yeah. So that sort of completes their technical knowledge.
You just talked about when you were rising up in the banking sector. There's a panel on women in finance, right? Still on skills. Of the number of youth that you are enrolling into things like GMAP and so on, how many of them are girls? Are you encouraged by the number of girls getting into this field, or is there still more to be done?
I am encouraged by the number of ladies that are getting into the technical world, but I must say also that we need more. The few I have seen are excellent. These days it's no brainer for girls to want to venture into IT world. Yes, but as a woman, I want to see more. Yeah.
Okay, and you're the Africa CEO for one of the biggest banks on the continent. Since we're still on women, the gender balance, what's UBA doing as far as getting more women into positions like where you are?
Awesome. I'm sure until recently, until the appointment of the deputy governor, there were actually more women on UBA board than the men. I think that is something that we need to applaud UBA for. And also, if you look at all the CEOs across Africa, I have quite a number of women. More than 6 women are CEOs of countries, subsidiaries of UBA. And in most of our geography branches, women at senior level. So that sort of is a step that has encouraged a lot of girl child to want to step up into leadership.
Marufatu Abiola Bawuah,
Yes, please.
Africa CEO for UBA. We thank you for taking the time to talk to Arise News here in Lome, Togo at the Africa Financial Summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All
Thanks
right,
for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Actually, we don't want you to leave just yet. So, Mr. K, Morning Show crew, that's it here from us. You know, you guys are tight for time. I know. If you have any extra questions, that's fine.
No,
throw it
I've got
at me.
extra
If
questions
not,
for you.
that's what we have the latest here from
Rotus, tell us about your panel session and tell us what's been happening going on at the summit in general. You know, some key conversations going on.
Okay, yes, the panel session, Rufai, good morning to you, was on the Africa risk premium. So the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning for Rwanda was there. The CEO of the Dutch Entrepreneurial Development Bank was there as well. And we also had Yvonne Mango, who is the economics, she's the Africa economics for Bloomberg Economics. She covers Africa. So we talked about the fact that, you know, in terms of loans and in terms of the cost of borrowing for African nations, it is higher than it is for their counterparts in emerging markets in Southern America and other regions. So, you know, is there a bias? Is it unfair? The numbers were there. We discussed it in depth, and you know, there's a lot that we discussed that had to be done in terms of being able to reduce that premium.
Okay, yeah. Very good, very well said. One would like to find out what's in store for today, but before I do that, I was just going to mention that it's good to see Marufatu Abiola Bawuah, as you'd like to be called. The fact remains that when you look at what has happened with UBA and Transcorp and all the other businesses of Tony Elumelu, you see that there are women. Transcorp in Abuja, a woman, Dupe Olushola, and a number of other companies like that. So you see that. But every company in Nigeria has got to emulate that and bring women. Yes, I know, and of course, I know. And so, but help us understand what's in store for today.
Yes, for today, there's going to be a chat with Herbert Wigwe of Access Corporation. He's going to be discussing, the financial sector. There's also going to be a lot of focus on fintech today as well. So there'll be a lot of discussions on how fintech and technology can scale. That's what Abiola Bawuah was just talking to us about, how to scale that across the African continent. So there's a lot of focus on banking and technology for today.
Okay, all right. Thank you ever so much. We're looking forward to whatever will come out of today's conversation, especially with Herbert Wigwe of Access Bank speaking later today. So thank you very much for the good work you're doing, and have fun in Lome before you come back.